All right, so get this. We're diving into a real-life marine mystery today. A story that starts with a headline that's pretty wild. What happened? Scientists solve mystery of 15-foot white shark missing its liver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like a, real whodunit.
Hmm.
And this article from Flinders University, it was published just a few days ago, February 5th, 2025.
Very recently.
Yeah, very recent. And
This is going to be an interesting one.
it is. So picture this, all right. A massive great white shark washes ashore in Portland, Victoria, Australia, back in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, and everything seems normal, except for one rather important detail.
Yeah. What's that?
Well, the liver, digestive system, and reproductive organs, they're completely gone.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's as if they were, I don't know, surgically removed. So before we, get into the nitty-gritty of this investigation, let's kind of set the stage for folks who might not be totally familiar with the food chain dynamics.
Right.
Can you kind of explain what we mean by apex predator?
Sure, yeah. When we talk about an apex predator, we're referring to a species at the very top of the food chain.
Okay.
They're basically the ultimate hunters in their ecosystem.
The top dogs.
Yeah, exactly. White sharks are a classic example.
Yeah.
They have very few natural predators, and they play a crucial role in regulating populations of other species.
Gotcha. So back to our missing liver mystery.
Okay.
If it wasn't a surgical procedure, what did the scientists find at the scene of the crime?
Well, the shark carcass had 4 distinct bite wounds.
Okay.
Now, one of these bites was particularly interesting.
Okay.
It matched the signature pattern of a killer whale attack, specifically aimed at extracting the liver. It's a technique that's been observed in other parts of the world, but this was the first confirmed case in Australia.
Hang on. I'm getting chills. This is starting to sound less like a medical mystery and more like, a scene from Jaws, but with a killer whale twist.
Yeah. Yeah, it does have a certain thriller element to it, and it gets even more compelling. Remember, this happened in 2023.
Yeah.
Just 2 days before this shark carcass, turned up, several civilian bystanders reported seeing killer whales in the area.
Wait, so we actually have eyewitness accounts of killer whales potentially hunting large prey right before this discovery.
Exactly. And get this, 2 of those killer whales were locally known individuals.
Oh, wow.
They were named Bent Tip and Ripple.
Bent tip and ripple, okay.
And they were observed, actively engaging with and catching large prey.
Okay, that's some pretty strong circumstantial evidence. Was there anything more concrete linking these killer whales to the shark?
So scientists took swabs from those bite wounds on the shark.
Okay.
And they analyzed the DNA. And guess what?
Right.
They found killer whale DNA.
Oh, wow.
Present in that crucial liver extraction bite.
Really?
The other 3 wounds showed DNA from broad-nosed seven-gill sharks, which were likely just scavenging the remains.
Oh, interesting. So the DNA evidence confirms that killer whales were definitely involved in this shark's demise.
Yeah.
But this raises a big question. Why go through all that effort just for the liver?
You might be wondering why target the liver specifically.
Yeah.
Well, it all comes down to energy. For a large active predator like a killer whale,
Right.
the liver is a nutritional goldmine.
Like they're going for the gourmet cut.
Exactly, yeah.
But what makes the liver so special?
Well, it's packed with nutrients, particularly lipids, which are essential for energy.
Oh, okay.
In fact, shark livers are known to be very high in a specific lipid called squalene.
Squalene, okay.
Which is incredibly energy rich. Think of it as like a supercharged energy drink for killer whales.
So they've evolved to target the most calorie-dense part of their prey.
Yeah.
That's some next-level hunting strategy.
It is.
But what about the rest of the shark? It seems like a lot of food to just, leave behind.
That's where things get interesting in terms of the wider ecosystem. While the killer whales focus on the nutrient-rich organs, the remaining carcass, it basically becomes a buffet for other marine creatures.
So it's like an unintended consequence of their gourmet dining habits?
Right.
They're actually creating a food source for other species in the process.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fascinating example of how nature often has these unexpected ripple effects.
Right.
What might seem wasteful from one perspective, it actually, fuels biodiversity. This study, it actually found DNA from a variety of scavengers.
Oh, wow.
Including those broad-nosed seven-gill sharks we talked about earlier, all over the leftover carcass.
So speaking of ripples, this whole killer whale strategy has me thinking about the bigger picture.
Okay.
White sharks, they're at the top of their food chain, right?
Yeah.
So what happens to the balance of the entire ecosystem when you have these highly intelligent predators targeting them?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that scientists are actively investigating, especially in places like South Africa,
Okay.
where this killer whale behavior has been documented for a longer period of time.
So what have they learned from those South African cases?
Well, in some areas where killer whales have been targeting white sharks,
Yeah.
researchers have observed a decline in white shark populations.
Oh, wow.
And that shift at the very top of the food chain,
Right.
it can trigger a cascade of changes throughout the ecosystem.
Okay, so walk me through that.
Okay.
What sort of cascading effects are we talking about?
It's like a domino effect.
Okay.
When the number of white sharks decreases,
Yeah.
their prey species, like seals and sea lions,
All right.
they can become more abundant.
Yeah.
That, in turn, can impact the populations of fish and other marine life that those seals and sea lions feed on.
So one change at the top can literally reshape the entire food web.
It can, yeah.
This is getting pretty complex.
It is, yeah.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of everything in the ocean.
It does.
And it underscores why understanding predator-prey relationships, like this one between killer whales and white sharks, is so crucial for conservation efforts.
Right, exactly.
So this case in Australia, it's the first confirmed instance of this behavior, right?
It is, yeah.
Does that mean we could potentially see similar ecosystem shifts happening here?
It's certainly a possibility that researchers are, now looking into. While this study provides the first definitive evidence of killer whales preying on white sharks for their livers in Australia,
Right.
it doesn't tell us how widespread this behavior might be or how often it occurs.
So there are still a lot of unknowns.
There are, yeah.
But what this research does tell us is that killer whales are incredibly savvy hunters.
Absolutely. They've evolved a hunter technique that maximizes energy gain while minimizing effort.
Wow.
And the fact that we're seeing this behavior in different parts of the world, it suggests it's not just a fluke, it's a deliberate strategy.
It makes you wonder, like, if this killer whale behavior isn't new, why are we just now uncovering it?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It speaks to the vastness and complexity of the ocean.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
only through dedicated research and a bit of luck, like those eyewitness accounts in this case, that we're able to piece together these intricate puzzles.
It's amazing what science can reveal when it comes to understanding animal behavior.
It really is.
I mean, this whole investigation has been like a masterclass in detective work.
Yeah.
From the bite mark analysis to the DNA evidence.
It's remarkable.
And I think one of the most important takeaways from this study is that we still have so much to learn about the intricate relationships between different species in the ocean.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has definitely blown my mind.
It's fascinating stuff.
It's like we've gone from, a CSI episode to a nature documentary all in one go.
It just goes to show you that reality is often stranger and more fascinating than fiction. Right.
Especially when it comes to the ocean.
I'm still a bit awestruck by these killer whales.
Yeah.
It's not just their power. It's their intelligence and adaptability that really stand out.
And what's fascinating here is that we've probably only scratched the surface of their dietary secrets.
Oh, really?
Think about all the other hunting strategies and food sources they might be exploiting that we haven't even discovered yet.
You're right. This is probably just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to understanding killer whale behavior.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we should never underestimate the ingenuity of the natural world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this whole story is like a wild reminder that there's still so much we don't know about the ocean.
Right.
And all the creatures that call it home.
Absolutely. And it makes you appreciate the incredible work that researchers are doing to unravel these mysteries, often in very challenging environments.
I'm curious, though, we've talked a lot about, the potential negative impacts of this killer whale behavior
on white shark populations and ecosystems. But are there any potential benefits or silver linings to consider?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that nature is all about balance.
Right.
While killer whales targeting white sharks, it can lead to shifts in the ecosystem. Those shifts aren't necessarily always bad.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Explain that a little further.
Well, for example, if white shark populations decline, it could create opportunities for other predator species to fill that niche.
Okay.
This could actually lead to increased biodiversity in some cases.
So it's not necessarily a simple case of, good versus bad.
Right.
It's more about understanding how the ecosystem adapts to these changes.
Precisely. And it's a reminder that ecosystems are dynamic and constantly evolving.
Huh?
What might seem like a disruption in the short term, it could actually contribute to the long-term resilience of the ecosystem.
So this brings us to the all-important question. What does this all mean for us? Should we be worried about these killer whales and their taste for shark liver?
Well, I think the key takeaway here is not to jump to conclusions or oversimplify the situation.
Okay.
This research, it highlights the complexity of predator-prey interactions and the importance of ongoing monitoring and research to understand the potential impacts on marine ecosystems.
So instead of panicking, we should be focusing on learning more.
Exactly.
Okay.
The more we understand about these interactions, the better equipped we'll be to make informed decisions about conservation and management strategies.
This deep dive has given me a whole new perspective on killer whales.
Oh, yeah.
They're clearly not just, mindless killing machines. They're highly intelligent and adaptable creatures, playing a vital role in shaping their environment.
Absolutely, and I think this case is a fantastic example of how scientific inquiry can help us unravel those complexities and appreciate the incredible diversity and ingenuity of the natural world.
So to wrap things up, what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to ponder after this deep dive?
I would say the most important thing to remember is that nature is full of surprises and even seemingly isolated events like a shark washing ashore missing its liver.
Right.
They can have far-reaching implications for the entire ecosystem.
Wow.
It's a reminder that everything is interconnected and that our actions, or in this case, the actions of a killer whale, can create ripples that extend far beyond the immediate event.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you realize the importance of understanding and respecting the delicate balance of nature.
It does.
And maybe even sparks a little bit of awe for the incredible creatures that share our planet.
Well said. And hopefully this deep dive has inspired our listeners to learn more about killer whales, white sharks, and the fascinating world of marine ecosystems.
Yeah.
There's always more to discover, and who knows what other mind-blowing mysteries are waiting to be uncovered beneath the waves.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap things up here.
Sounds good.
That's going to do it for this deep dive.
Right?
We'll be back next week with a brand new mystery. So until then, happy exploring.
See you next time.